President Hockfield, I worked in nuclear engineering for 10 years, more than that. And the way your expression changes to reflect the personality of the person you're interacting with is something I've never seen before. You are responding to the specifics of that person, their kindness, their warmth, their absurdity, their challenges. For each person, your look reflects back the person you're interacting with. The only person I think you got wrong was Mujid. I worked for Mujid for 10 years, and he was the kindest, most hardworking person. You could ever hope to find. But you wouldn't want to be in any sort of negotiation with him. He would go to the mat for a penny. And my guess is something like that what's going on here. Um, but about fossil fuels, I wouldn't want to second guess the choices and the decisions you had to make coming to MIT from Yale. Um, but someone told a friend of mine at Charles Vest's funeral that he was very hurt that you distanced yourself from him. And you have many public statements showing your support for David Koch. And again, I don't want to second guess that, but that set MIT on the path that it's on now. And when you stepped down and handed the reins over, MIT became something it had never been before. You said that you were stepping down because MIT had ambitious plans. It wasn't MIT, it wasn't the Institute, it was John Deutsch and Raphael Reif pushing Schlumberger's plans to create a fossil fuel research center in Russia. And for 2 years, MIT said, no, not on your life. And then it capitulated when Reif and Israel Ruiz together came up with this fundraising campaign, this 2030 capital campaign to raise $5.2 billion, which I guarantee you, it never materialized. It was meant to exist. It was a strategy to take control, and it worked perfectly. And the only true thing that Raphael Reif has ever said was that it was shocking when you resigned. They never expected that. They expected to do what they wanted to do from behind the scenes. And you opened a door that changed MIT forever not in a good way by any means. And now's the time to go back and to say the truth about that decision. You are doing two things in your resignation letter. You're clearly getting out of Dodge, and you're trying to celebrate what you achieved in that period of time. And you're trying not to lie. But that fundraising plan, that was only fossil fuels. They had 300 million from Russia, and they had millions more from the energy initiative. And that was enough for them to say, we have a plan to raise 5.2 billion more. But it never existed. It was just a strategy to gain control, and it worked perfectly. And it worked horrifically. Um, as soon as you announced your resignation, but before he was appointed president, Raphael Reif sent this letter on April 17th, ostensibly celebrating the work of the Environmental Research Council, who had spent 4 years developing a plan. but in fact appointing Maria Zuber to sabotage it. And in November, when she published her plans, all 18 faculty, who are close friends of mine, walked away without a single word of complaint. And they allowed Maria Zuber's evil, truly evil version of climate action to stand. It it wiped out the idea of a systemic strategy of protecting the environment, of protecting the vulnerable people, and it replaced this repulsive idea of solutions. And Maria Zuber even wrote, in her inimitable way, a single sentence of propaganda to help sell this lie. And that propaganda has become the world's idea of climate action. And you can only understand the evil of this when you understand what was destroyed to make way for this lie. Um, and Raphael Reif stepping down after 10 years. You were 61 years old when you stepped down. Charles Besser for 14 years and stepped down at age 63 to make way for new energy. Raphael Reif was 61 when he took office, and he'd still be there if he wasn't being forced to step down. He'd still be on the board of Schlumberger, but he turned 70 in 2021 and he had to step down. They pushed him off the board because he was 70. He'd still be on Schlumberger's board. John Deutsch is a Skokovo trustee. He became a Skokovo trustee in 2012. And that lie of describing a Russian shale and energy research center as an innovation hub, the lack of curiosity of the MIT community to click over and see the truth is painful. Um, and it's because, like the students of the Energy Club, they're doing good work. It's not in their mindset to take responsibility what MIT is doing in their name with the good reputation that they've established. Ernie Moniz was a stage of MIT, of the David Koch, where MIT was saying to the world, yes, we're supporting fossil fuels. Yes, we know the horrors that it does, but we trust our ability to produce something that's worth that empowerment. That was the MIT people knew. What MIT has become under Raphael Reif and Israel Ruiz and John Deutsch and Maria Zuber is unidentifiable to anyone who cares about MIT. So please stand up. People make mistakes. It's how people recover from them that matters.